Go ahead and get our meeting started here momentarily. Just wanted to welcome you all and thank you for joining us this morning. We will call to order the Southern Nevada Health District Board of Health meeting on March 11th at 9 a.m. for this special board meeting. If we can take care of the roll call and compliance with the Nevada open meeting law, Andrea.
Chair Black?
Here.
Member Bond?
Here.
Member Burney? Member Gallo? Member
Here.
Hardy? Member Kirkpatrick? Member Larson?
Here.
Member Nemec? Member Nielsen?
Here.
And Member Summers Armstrong. We do have quorum.
Thank you. If you would be willing to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Play ball. Someone said play ball. You're at the wrong venue. The spring training's in Arizona. Anyway, welcome this morning. I appreciate everyone being here on behalf of the board. This is a special board meeting. It was called by me, the chair, to consider one agenda item today, which is through the process of listening and engaging with the community. We've heard loud and clear, and so today we're considering one agenda item, which is for the board to consider withdrawing the septic regulation process. So that's what's before us today. At this time, I will go to the first public comment, a period devoted to comments by the general public about this item on the agenda for action today. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes per speaker. Please clearly state and spell your name for the record. And welcome. Hi, Ms. McSwain.
Hi, Chair Black. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I appreciate the board members that are participating in this. I'd like to begin by thanking you all for responding to the concerns raised by the community and scheduling this meeting. The willingness to formally consider a course correction is really appreciated. With that, I believe one important lesson should come from what we have experienced and is another reason to vote yes to withdraw the proposed septic regulations. A flawed notification process is at the root of most of the frustration and began with residents being unaware of the proposal until alerted by WFC members only days prior to the workshop in September. Many residents are unfamiliar with the development of the business impact statement and the fact that it accompanies the regulatory rulemaking process. As a result, significant policies can move forward without those directly impacted ever receiving a notice. This is not what transparency looks like. When policies have had the potential to impose significant costs and long-term obligations, residents deserve clear notice at the earliest stage of consideration. It's also reasonable to expect that a rule change begin with the board discussion during a public meeting that directs staff to develop rules with the need clearly defined. Such a process would also ensure board members have visibility as well into what staff is working on. After all, you are responsible for setting and guiding policy. The excessive use charge penalties were adopted by the Water District using the same process and are now being litigated. Unfortunately, once a rule gets across the finish line, litigation often becomes the public's only option. That's not a good look for agencies responsible to the residents they serve. The Water Fairness Coalition will be pursuing revisions to the notification process during the next legislative session, and we will be seeking your support. We look forward to working with you constructively to craft appropriate language that will help restore some of the trust that's been shaken by this process. And I thank you very much. And I'd like to submit my comments for the record. Thank you.
Chair Black, just for the record, Member
Yes.
Nemec has joined the meeting.
Thank you. Ms. Henry.
Good morning, and thank you. Diane Henry, Henry. Your revisions to the originally proposed septic rules were a very good start. However, your press release on February 25th stated that no action is being taken that would financially burden existing residential septic owners. To make that a factual statement, you'd need to start by redrafting all the sections that list the ramifications of an altered septic system. The need for more than a minor septic repair isn't too common, but it can happen. And under the new rules, that would create a financial burden when a system is repaired, but is now considered altered, which wins you a permit revocation, a temporary permit expiring every 5 years or upon transfer, fees, reviews, and all your other new requirements. Section 9-1B1 goes so far as to say the system must be completely decommissioned, an extreme financial burden, especially for something that's likely repairable. And speaking of burdens, your mandates for the new construction combined with all the requirements of SNWA's interim waiver program are even more egregious. Another way to assure that no action will be taken that would financially burden existing septic owners would be to withdraw your proposed new regulations, which we sincerely hope you're going to do and which would be most appreciated. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
My name is Sharon Seeley. I reside at 6475 Darby Avenue. Please vote to withdraw all versions of the proposed septic regulations. The proposed regulations would be a financial burden to my family. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
I'm Carol Turner, Turner. I think most people are here today because of the enormous costs we're told it would take to convert our systems to sewer. And I think when this idea was first introduced a few years ago, the city was going to pay for it, and that's changed. But I think if the city wants to continue with this, then the city will need to pay for it. And you might say, well, people who buy new homes pay for the sewer with the sale of the home, but they have a choice to buy the home, whether they can afford it. We don't have a choice. And I think most people just can't afford this. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Morning, sir.
How are you doing today? Richard Serdoz, how are you doing? First of all, thanks for at least thinking about closing this deal out, because again, it is a burden to everybody. But the part that upsets me a little bit is you saw the overwhelming turnout that you had at the meeting at the YMCA on Centennial, and it was a train wreck. Yet none of those people get to be here. Even if you decide to cancel all this, none of them get to feel their vindication or feel that their opinion was warranted, because again, nobody knew about the meeting here. I only found out last night about this meeting. Fortunately, I own a business that I can make this time. Most of the people here are elderly and retired that don't have day jobs. Because I promise you, the 1,500 people that showed up on Centennial would have been here today to support you closing out this whole ordeal. I mean, it's the best for all of us, but I think it would have been better for the people and for you if they could all see that them coming together and their voices were heard, that, hey, you as a people, we hear you, we understand, and now we're not going to do what you say you're going to do. So in my opinion, I think it would have been better for you to host this at a time. Again, we talked about that last time, that everyone could go, because you saw how many people this is affecting. It's not just a few of us angry people in a mob wanting to fight you. It's the whole system at a whole that, in my opinion, is coming to the point where you guys are taking little bits of this at a time, only to do what they ultimately want to do, which is annex most of us in the Las Vegas Valley into the property tax bracket that falls us, which costs us even more money. County pays less taxes. We know that. And I know the city of Las Vegas has been trying to grab our property tax forever. They've tried this before 3 or 4 years ago. And it seems like it's a wasted dead energy of us having to keep going back and forth with you people. Now they put you guys in the ring. And again, like I said, for a septic system to get into the groundwater level, do you know how hard that would be when groundwater is 700, 800, 900 feet down and a septic system's less than 10 feet? I mean, literally, let's be logical about the whole problem. You know, I appreciate you guys considering. Is that my time?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Good morning, Mr. Salmon.
Hi, good morning, Chair and Board. My name is Christian Salmon, CHRASTIAN, Under NRS 241.0351D, I ask for my remarks to be verbatim in the minutes. And first, I'd like to thank Chairman Black for requesting this special meeting and for bringing this withdrawal item forward. Originally, AB 220 was about a grant program. It's about paying for these septic systems, but what we're looking at has turned into regulation. So the legislature spoke, and we felt like this has been on deaf ears as far as what has come out. So I ask, please vote yes today to withdraw the proposed septic regulations and let this package end here. Septic owners have shown up, spoken clearly, and stayed engaged. We do not want this framework revived later under another name, under another form, or another process. We've relitigated this over and over and over. And whoever is pushing this, please listen. We don't want it. And that's it. And that the response you're seeing over and over is everyone speaking for themselves and saying that. So, I just asked to, I know some board members aren't present. I'm sorry they couldn't make it. But even those that are not present and the ones that are, I ask you respectively for each of you to state why you are voting the way you are voting, so the public record reflects your reasoning and homeowners can better understand your thinking. We really want to work together on something. If it's, in the future, we just want to be heard and make it happen the right way. And so that's where we're coming from. I appreciate. Thank you for this meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Chair Black,
Good morning, sir.
Chair Black. I
Morning.
apologize. Member Bruni is online.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Greg Austell, Austell, 1510 Montessori Street. Thanks for having us here and thanks for listening. When I first heard about this, I thought, why? Why these new proposed regulations? So I did the research and I did all my research on your website. And your website states that the primary reason is because of nitrate levels in the groundwater and groundwater safety. The highest level we've had in the last 10 years has been 7.5 in 2016. Since then, this year was 6.3. And that was out of 4 of 120 stations or wells that were tested. With that said, why are nitrates a danger? Blue baby syndrome, and it states it in the note number 13 into this year's water report that blue baby syndrome is the danger you're trying to avoid. There have been 2 cases of blue baby syndrome in the United States in the last 60 years. There have been no blue baby syndrome in the entire United States since 2000. Why are we doing this? What's the real reason? In my opinion, it's driven politically by the Southern Nevada Water Authority to get water credits. Why? So we can increase expansion of the valley during a severe drought. Makes no sense. Water is essential to live. Why are we expanding? Why? That's not your job, but your job is to protect our health. This isn't protecting our health. It's disingenuous, dishonest, or just incompetent.
Good morning, Dr. Nasser.
My name is Gary Cantor. My address is 2816 Vista del Sol. As I previously indicated, there is no evidence of medical problems or environmental problems associated with septic tanks or in the medical literature. I presented that because the basis of all of this was in the first page of your original document stating, quote, to promote and protect the public health as a basis of this. A well-intended but totally incorrect perception. In the last meeting, a homeowner outlined the potential cost of her connecting to the septic tank, to the sewer, the cost of having a tractor parked on her front lawn, a 5-foot trench dug into her backyard, disruption of her house, and the inability to live in her house for at least 2 weeks while this was going on. Who in their right mind would ever buy a house with a septic tank in the future under these circumstances? If changing the regulations were to be implemented with such potential requirements, more aggressive, unnecessary regulations will substantially reduce the value of such homes in the future. After all, again, who would then buy a home with a septic tank with fluctuating regulations, thereby substantially reducing their future market value, a big issue for 16,000 people with septic tanks. I appreciate your consideration of today's current proposal. Please withdraw and cancel these proposed and unnecessary regulations. Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi, Cheryl Pastor, 1330 Rosanna Street. Last time I talked about the cost issue, and I'm going to talk about it again. The cost issue to hook up is one issue. The second issue is the cost that you would have to demolish your property, which is huge. The third issue, of course, is you have to be out of your home. And the one concern that I have here also is the fact that if I had to be out of my home, if my system were to fail or my neighbor's system were to fail, which I'll explain in a minute, then being out of my home for that period of time is a huge impact. But I'm concerned about the fact that, and I want to know this from you, is if I have to appear before this board to move forward, to even connect, if you have a board meeting and let's say it's only once a month, and let's say my system fails the next day, then I would have to wait another month to appear before this board to get any action at all, in which my house will be red tagged and I could not live in it anyway. So I want to know that for a fact. Would I have to do that? And if that's the case, can I bypass that to immediately move forward to the city to try to get a contractor to be able to hook up? Because if I had to go through a mega process of even getting a contractor, permits and everything else, it could take up to maybe 3 months that I would have to be out of my property and have no place to go. I'd have to live in a hotel. So with my house red tag. So I want to know that.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Tombari, Michelle I'd like to say I agree with everything that was said here. I just have a few other comments. After AB 220, we thought, okay, this is coming. We're not going to have a choice. And we were working with the water district to try and get some of the funding that it sounded like would be available. And we were told it'd be $1 million to run a main line down towards our cul-de-sac, and then probably 100,000 or so more on our end to hook up to that main line. So a lot of money, and I don't know why we don't have infrastructure funds to pay for sewer. If you want us to switch to sewer and be off septic, then it seems like you would need to get the infrastructure funds to make that happen. So it can't be on the individual homeowner. I have elderly neighbors in my neighborhood. I have, I'm in a county island too. I'm terrified about the annexation again. That was a huge issue back, huge. That was a main problem because we would like to stay county. And this just kind of seems to make the pile higher. And the pile's too high already. So let's dig it out. Let's make it smaller and figure out a way to fund this stuff. If you're really hell bent on getting rid of septics, come up with some money and let's get the job done. Because I'm happy with my septic. I maintain it. I don't have a problem with it. But if you guys do and put the money up, I think I'd be okay switching to sewer. But I'll probably get shot on the way out. But anyway, no, I'm good. Thank you.
We have very capable security here. You're safe.
Hi.
Good morning.
Ann Casey. I just want to address the cost and the time issue. I actually am converting to sewer. I started that process 2 years ago, couldn't find enough bids to get it done. Last time I came here, I think in October, you had them call me back, and now they gave me 4 people. It's still taking me, that was in October. It's taken me that long to get 3 bids that I have to use in order to make the conversion. So that's 3 months. I've still got problems. Now it's going to be submitted. I happen to be a lucky person who lives in the county, and the street in front of me is county, but the sewer in my street is city. So that adds another month or 2, and I have to sign an agreement with the city and the county because of that. It's going to take, that in itself takes a month to 2 months. The process of getting it through the water authority, getting the permits, getting the civil engineering, getting everything else is 5 to 6 months. Now we're talking, we'll call it 8 months, possibly more. So one of the requirements in the current proposal is that if the system fails, there's no definition of failure, you have to replace it. You have to connect to city sewer. So now, who gets to decide that? Something that could have been simple to fix in a week is now 8 months. So what happens to those people, and how do they live for those 8 months while you're trying to connect to, and I'm the cheapest, man. My septic is in front of my house. The sewer is right in front of my house. I'm cheap. I'm easy.
Thank you, Ms. Casey.
It's not easy. Don't do it. One more thing. Don't bring it back into different guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Morning, sir.
My name's Sean Craig. I'm a native here. I was born here. I'm also a plumbing contractor here. I've talked to a lot of people about this in my neighborhood, and through my neighborhoods, I've actually gotten some quotes on septic from a buddy of mine that does a lot of septics, and I got the transition quotes for 3 houses that are mine, and they were between $300,000 and $400,000. So I would ask you up there to put yourself in our position. Just say like we had, like right now I'm in a position, my dad is getting sick and I want to build a casita in the backyard so I could watch him and take care of him. And I want to do this little $80,000 upgrade, which fits my septic, but due to your regulations that you're proposing, that you're going to, now that I'm a homeowner, I'm going to have to spend, instead of spending $80,000, I'm going to spend $380,000 plus dollars. It's like another house payment. You know, this is our community. You guys are part of our community. So the other thing I would like to bring up is like septics have been all over the world since 1881. They work just fine. And when they go bad or they back up, it's up to us to fix them. We don't need anybody to regulate what we've been doing our entire lives. We already know how to operate our systems. This is overreach. This is a little bit out of control, and we've got enough of everyone putting our foot on our necks in this country and in this state. I mean, when's enough enough? When do we? So if you guys want to do this, if you take 17,000 homeowners and you have 300,000 house, that's $5 billion. I mean, if you guys want to come in and like redo all of our houses, and I'm not saying every case could be a little cheaper or, you know, even a little more, but you guys want to spend $5 million to collect the revenue of what do they charge to be on city sewer? Like $300, $400, $500 a year. That's like $5 million a year. Those are rough estimates.
Thank you, Mr. Craig.
You know,
Thank you.
hope you find it in your heart to do what's good. Do us a favor, do something good for your community and just end this thing, please and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
My name is Bridget Solvey, spelled Solvie. There's been a lot of really good comments here, and I know you heard a lot of them, Mr. Black, at the YMCA, and I recall you saying, "Hi, Commissioner." You want to get it right. So I'm going to do what I did a month and a half ago when this first kind of hit the fan and bring it back to NRS. NRS 439.3672, number 1. The District Board of Health may create a voluntary financial assistance program to pay 100% of the cost for a property owner with an existing septic system whose property is served by a municipal water system to abandon the septic system and connect to community sewerage disposal system. Bring it right back. That whole entry into NRS was created by AB 220. And I know you know that. We know that too. So the notification system has some serious issues, and that's going to be addressed and should be addressed. We've got a financial burden that's being introduced to people that can't afford it. We have a potential health problem that you all, that's your Department of Board of Health, that is more theoretical than actual. And I believe that the effort that's been put forward to target specific areas that do have crumbling infrastructure and do have issues with nitrate close to groundwater, because our valley has different levels of groundwater depending on where you are. Those are the areas that we need to seek the funding for, that we need to seek the 100% financial assistance and get those homes through the proper layers of conversion and through push them through expeditiously through the application process to get it done.
Thank you, Ms. Selvey.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Victoria Richester, Victoria Rechester. I live at 1550 Montessori Street. And listening to all the comments, I agree with all of them. And thank you for listening. But another thing that really feels like somehow the city wants us to lose our houses because we can't afford this conversion. And by not notifying us, silence is a sign of agreement, which is not true in this case. And it just feels like, oh, you're defaulting, you're not doing it, you can't have your house, the city is going to take it. And it's not right. It's not right. We live in Nevada. Don't let California rules and regulations bring Nevada to its knees. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Alejandro. My property is 5001 Ryder. And I've been trying to build a house for 2 years in that property. And my case is a little bit different. I've been trying to get to the program that they supposed to be being approved in the 24 for being paid 100% by the water district. And it has not been resolved anything in my case. So either I want to do the septic or I can connect to the sewer, but it's $250,000 away from me. So another thing is you guys asking for $20,000 waiver. And last year regulation was 400 feet requirement, and I can be able to apply. Now you guys change it to a 600 feet, which is I don't apply anymore. So what could I do in this case? I mean, my case is a little bit different than anybody else, but I support everybody. I am in the same spot. Thank you.
Alejandro. Do we have any comments online, Andrea?
No, we do not.
Okay. Looks like we have a few more speakers lining up. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Stewart, Stewart. I was born here and have always lived here. In 1974, my husband and I bought a half acre. And in 1977, we started building our dream home. And there was no sewer. We were at Sahara and Jones. There was no sewer, so we had the expense of putting in a septic tank. That was our only alternative, and it's functioned just fine. We've worked really hard and paid off our house, and now then we retired, and now we're on a fixed income, and there is no way we can afford this. We'll end up selling our dream home if you pass this. Please withdraw.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Good morning, sir. I'm sorry? Okay. Okay. All right. Good morning, sir. Sorry about that.
Good morning. Al Osborne. I live on 1350 Duneville Street. And to me, this whole thing's about money. What we heard earlier on was that if we converted all these septic tanks, we'd be saving all this water because it would go back through the recycling plant and be available for everybody to use. Well, I've already paid for that water once. It's gone in the ground because that's legally what I'm allowed to do. Now you're asking me to, at my expense, supplement the water system with my wastewater that everybody in the valley is going to benefit from. But everybody in the valley is not going to pay a penny for my conversion. So if you want to do it, then there needs to be across the board paying for everybody. Because I'm not benefiting anymore by making the conversion. And everybody else in town, visitors included, are going to benefit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Mark. Keith Kennedy, Henderson, Nevada. I'm here again to speak on behalf of myself and all the owners in here and future septic owners. As was brought up earlier about AB 220, a lot of people didn't even know about it. Still people don't know about it that own property, and it affects them. When SNWA petitioned the legislature to go ahead and pass this water authority mandate saying no new septics and all the different criteria for shutting off people's water and limiting their water use to like 80 gallons per day and stuff like that when we get down to a certain level of the lake. These have consequences. It was not open forum. I was informed that the city of Henderson didn't even know for 3 months that AB 220 passed and there's no new septics. They were having people getting their permits in order and almost issuing them. And then they find out, hey, you can't do that. And so we're still to this day that there's an interim vote, and the manager came up with the $20,000 rule, which is still exorbitant, plus all the fees that I talked about last time for an owner to, we just heard today, that's $300,000-$400,000 if you want to add on or to hook up to your system. And so a lot of these things for the water authority should, the $20,000 for a waiver should be it. You should put your lateral in whatever entity that tells you where to put it. And then at that time, the hookup fees and all that should come out of the $20,000, which is still too much. And then it should be that there's no other dime out of your pocket. You paid that, it goes on, you record it with the county recorder. And once sewer comes to your thing, you've already got your hookup there. You don't pay a dime. And that's the way it should be.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you.
Good morning.
Morning. My name is Nilda Williams, and I am a realtor myself, and I am a 100% active realtor in the Las Vegas Valley. And I don't agree with this proposal because I see it as a need for the city of more water. The thing that I don't understand myself, even being a realtor, why do you guys keep giving permit to build more homes? Because you need the water. So I don't agree with this. Please withdraw it.
Thank you. Seeing no one else coming forward, we'll close.
Chair.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Hi, my name is Trish MacArthur, and I just look at this issue as somewhat of a revenue grab. I am a well owner as well, and 25 years ago, the Southern Nevada Water District sat in a panel just like you folks and told us we want to cap your wells. And there's this perception out there that we get our septic free, we get our water free. We paid thousands upon thousands of dollars for our septic system. We paid even more with the maintain our wells. Nothing is free. And just because we're not sending you folks a check every month or to the water district every month because we maintain our own water, we're compliant. We're under a lot of rules and regulations. We're under rules of how much water we can use. And there's heavy, heavy fines if we overuse our water. So my perception is like the gentleman a couple speakers ago, and this is a revenue grab to get revenues. They want to have everybody paying for septic. They want everyone paying for water. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Harold White. I live at 9470 West Regina Avenue. I agree with everything that's being said here, but there's one thing that hasn't been brought up and needs to be. I brought it up the last time I was here about jurisdictional. The county says it's okay to have a septic system, but the city says it's not. So it kind of to me is discrimination. But then that's not just the end of it. You have North Las Vegas, you got Henderson, you got the rest of Clark County, you got Laughlin, Mesquite. This is affecting everybody. And I would hope that they would get their act together and get representatives of these other jurisdictions and vote yes to abandon this nonsense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Stephanie Dooley Ryan. I live at 8784 West Washburn Road. I guess I'm standing up here as a mom. I've had my house for 12 years. I'm raising my kids there. You know, we're trying to barely make ends meet, both parents working, working our butts off. I owned a preschool for 8 years, dealt with the city when we had a bar try to open up across the street and we had to fight that. I just feel the same with the rest of the people, but I wanted to kind of stand up for my demographic as like young mothers. I'm not that young, but we're trying to raise our families in the city and it's hard. And I think that, our parents taught us how to take care of these septic systems. We're doing our best. And it's a way for us to know that if something hit the fan and the sewers were turned off, at least I know my kids can flush their toilet and I can figure that out for them. It's one control I have as a mother. I don't have a well where we live, but our neighbors do. And I guess I just want to say that it's a shame that I didn't even know the cost of it until I came and sat here today, that it could possibly cost us $300,000. That's what I bought my house for. Like, I can barely pay my mortgage as it is, so let alone try to add that double down, So anyway, just wanted to say something for my demographic, and I get shaky up here. So thank you for your time, and I hope you do what's right.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
My name is Barry King. I live at 7330 Olam Drive in Las Vegas. Okay, my nephew works for the city of San Diego in their wastewater disposal project. And I asked him of the water that was being sent to them, how much could they reclaim and for drinking water. Okay, the goal of the city of San Diego is out of 160 million gallons, 33 million is recovered for pure water, which is drinkable. Another good portion of the water will be non-potable for golf courses and other large landscaping areas. The rest is sent to the ocean. It's a minor part.
Good morning. My name is George Stewart, Stewart. I'm a Vietnam vet. I was in Cam Ranh Bay in 1968. I was a weapons mechanic and I was at Cam Ranh Bay in 1968 when we got hit by Tet. And I am thank the God that I'm here today. And thank you for being here today and listening to me. You heard all these people talking here. You know what's going on. A while back, you raised my rate for the water, so we put rocks in. And then they raised my rate again because I used too much water, so I put turf in. That cost me a lot of money. I'm on a fixed income. I'm 100% vet. I can only spend so much money. you heard my wife about her dream house. We keep our septic tanked up like we're supposed to. We have a couple of trees in the backyard. And I just want to tell you to please get rid of this stuff. You guys keep changing things around. You keep doing this, you keep doing that. I and my neighbor, Phil, walked around when the city wanted to get us, we were in the county and we got all those petitions. I worked my butt off, walking the neighbors' houses, pounding on the door. And please listen to me. And I know there's other vets in here. Please listen to me and stop this nonsense and stop raising our money on the water and everything else. I thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Yes.
I don't
Andrea?
see anybody else in the room, so we do have some public comments online.
Okay.
So Catherine and Scott. Catherine and John Scott.
Yeah, I'm online. I wanted to make you guys known that we can't see the chat box. So when you asked if anybody had any comments, I had to sit and figure out what to do. So it's Catherine Scott. Please do not do the regulations. We bought our house. It was legal. It has a septic system. If you're going to mandate it, then the government should pay for it. We did everything legally. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. And just so the listening public here in the room as well as virtually are aware, there is not a chat function to the video feed. However, you can call in to make a comment. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
So the next speaker is David.
Go ahead, David.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Good morning. I appreciate I'm not able to make it there today. I was there last year for a different issue, but I like to see all the turnout from everyone who can. First off, the gentleman that just spoke, thank you for your service in protecting the U.S. Mr. Black, last time I was there, you made a comment to me after the meeting, and you're absolutely right. There is a process, but the process that SNWA and the health district is pushing everybody to do, I disagree with 100%. We all need water. We all have the right to water. We have the right to be on a septic, in my opinion. And I understand the big issue with the neighboring states in Nevada coming to an agreement on the water usage. That's a huge one. We don't want the government to come in and restrict how much water we can get, but at the same time, we have the right to be on septic, and we maintain those systems. We know what's going down, what we put down them. A maintained system can last well upwards to 100 years. The cost impact that everybody's mentioned
So they
today,
said people couldn't make
is just
comments or
astronomical for anyone.
comments. Well, I'm from Good on Tech, right? Usually you have a chat box. They don't
Excuse
put a
me,
chat box. You
if
can't
you're
open it.
listening online
So
and
I
you're
never
prepared to
said-
make a comment, please mute yourselves so we can hear clearly what Mr. David is saying. Thank you. Sorry, David.
Thank you, Ms. Black. Every comment from every homeowner is valid here. And I ask the board to please self-reflect within your own time to put yourselves in our shoes. We can't afford it. We shouldn't be forced to transfer over. If there are problems, it is our responsibility to maintain our systems. And that's a responsibility that all of us homeowners had agreed upon when we
David.
purchased our properties. Thank you.
You probably didn't hear the beeper, but your 2 minutes is up, and thank you for sharing your time with us today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
Sierra, you can unmute yourself and make your comment.
Let's go to the next one, and then we'll come back to Sierra.
Zach Gambino, you can unmute yourself and make your comment.
Hi, Zach.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to take the minute to lodge our objection to passing these regulations. I represent 8 of our property members in our small little HOA that we have a shared well with, and all 8 of us are on septics. And although everybody else is working, including myself, I was able to take the time to come out and at least join online and voice our opinion as a collective. And I just wanted to make sure that that was recorded on behalf of everybody in our HOA. So that was 8 of our properties, all who are on the septics currently would be adversely affected if, for whatever reason, the city decided to negate our existing permits that have been here. And all of our houses have been built within a range of the early 80s all the way through the mid to late 90s. And, you know, all of us have actively maintained our septics because we knew that if they were to fail, that they may not get renewed and that we would be on the hook for making the connection from our properties out to the city. And some of us, that's only about 60 feet, and the rest of us are about 120 feet or more. And it would be a significant cost to all of us who have worked really hard to maintain our properties, and kind of a smack in the face, per se, for those of us who do our regular maintenance and maintain these septics as they should be. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Zach.
TJ, you can unmute yourself and make your comment. If you're calling in, you can *6 to unmute yourself. I'll go to, oh. You're unmuted if you can speak. I'll go to the next one. Clinton Birch. You can unmute yourself and make your comment. Or *6 to unmute yourself.
I'm there.
Okay.
I got
Yep.
it. Thank you so
We
much.
can hear you.
Fantastic. So I live at 7785 West Rosada Way. We are on septic with city water. We are at a situation where we've actually been trying to get a permit to build a casita in the backyard to take care of our aging grandmother. And we've been put on hold because of this situation. The cost to bring sewer close to our house is above $280,000, and that's not including any caliche that would be encountered at a depth of, I think the Ember elevation is 18 plus feet. It's just a ridiculous situation where to get a permit, we'd have to spend, another $300,000-$400,000 to add sewer to an existing home that's had an active septic system that's been maintained. So please do not vote for this, and open up these permits to all these people who want to build these casitas in the backyard. Everybody knows that the cost of healthcare is exorbitant at this point in time. Having family close and taking care of them is so much better for the family and cheaper for the people who would have to pay for that. So please do not pass any more regulations and open these permits up so people can use their properties and make things nice for their families.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker.
Next speaker, Kevin Ferguson. You can unmute yourself.
Kevin Ferguson, 6113 Wittig Avenue. I have a 1969 home that was built with an old well and has two septic systems on it. I've received a quote for $450,000, which is approximately 3/4 of the value of my home on the market right now. I think everything's been said that can be said, but I just want to put my 2 cents in. This would create an undue hardship on my family. And as a voter and a taxpayer, I will keep that in mind. I hope you choose the correct way to vote. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker.
Next speaker, your phone ends in 0301. You're unmuted. Oh, they left.
Hello.
Oh, there. Yep, we can hear you.
This is
If you
Sarah
can
Jones
please-
at 6311.
Sorry, if you can
Wittig.
please state your name. Sorry.
Yes, Sarah Jones, 6311 Wittig Avenue. I'm calling again, I guess the one before me is Wittig. We're in a very old neighborhood, right? We were built in the early 70s. We're on a well, we're on septic. We went through hell to get permits to build our ADU for my aging father to live. It took 6 months. It took a friend who happened in the lobbyist in order to get through the township and the county to get any of our permitting done. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I don't understand how you could possibly put this on us. Again, our houses are old. So if I need to do something that requires a permit, it could trigger all of these things that you're saying won't impact me. Again, my house is old. If something happens and I need to redo some plumbing and my piping might be cast iron for my septic and within the house, not necessarily impacting the septic system. If I have to go do that, I have to pull a permit. And now suddenly this is this huge project that I wasn't wanting to do and my septic system is fine. So you're really putting a position that I won't be able to sell my house because nobody's going to want to take this on, or I'm going to be forced out of my house because I'm going to go have to mortgage it. I'm not in the retired age bracket yet. But again, when something starts to fail on my house, you're now re-triggering. Not only am I going to fix my house because I'm a prideful homeowner and I keep my house nice, but you're also now adding that onto it, which is completely unfair. So please drop this.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. For another speaker?
Caller ending in 490. No. They left. So we will try. Is CTJ? Can you unmute yourself? You're unmuted if you can speak.
Hello. No,
Yes,
that's
we
not
can hear
me.
you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Carol Benner, and I live at 190 North Iroquois Street in Sandy Valley. And I know I hear everybody in town talking about having to hook up the sewer and everything, but in Sandy Valley there is no sewer, and we're not on Colorado River water. So I don't know why Sandy Valley was included in any of this in the first place. But also, we've lived in our place for 30 years, and we don't think it's right for the county to come back now and say, give us more money. So we're taking care of our own business here. It's our septic. Please let this drop. We don't care about it. We don't want to do it. And if you force it on us, then how am I going to sell my house to the next person who's going to go, oh, every 5 years I might not get my septic redone. Okay, I just think it's nonsense. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
I don't see anyone else online.
Okay, with that, we'll
Oh.
close.
We just got one more.
Okay, they're quick. Good.
So Lisa Gallitz, you can.
Hi, Lisa, can you hear us?
If you can *6 to unmute yourself, if you're on the phone.
I kind of feel like a radio DJ. Next caller, first time caller. Yeah. Like, no music though.
So we have a caller ending in 1449.
That was me.
Okay.
I've already spoken.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa's put her hand down.
All right. Well, we will close the first public comment and move on to item number 4 on our agenda today, which is the adoption of the March 11th, 2026 agenda. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, that passes. Now we'll move to item number 5. Receive, discuss, and approve recommendation to withdraw the proposed 2025 individual sewage disposal system ISDS and liquid waste management regulations. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your comments today, as well as the comments that preceded this meeting. I'm just going to, I want to hear from every person on the board. We have a good majority of our board members joining us today. Some of them are virtual, but I'm thankful that everyone took the time to join us for this special meeting today. I'd just like to highlight a few things real quick, and then I'll turn it over to the board for discussion. So our first speaker today indicated about the communication process, Ms. McSwain. This is in fact a process. This, whenever we, as an organization, we have nearly 800 capable, trained, and committed public health professionals that work in a wide variety of disciplines here at the Health District to serve our community and maintain a level of public health. Whenever we consider a set of regulation changes, we engage in a process, and that process includes business impact statements, communication to the public, et cetera. What was unique about this one is generally those contemplate dealing with business-to-business relationships or environments. This one is vastly residential, and so the way it was rolled out, and the 18,000 residences that are affected by these proposed regulations, there were some communication challenges. So we were able to. The word got out, everyone was informed, and then the process, proceeded. Here we are today. Why are we having this meeting here today in this chamber instead of out somewhere else? The meeting that we had at the YMCA was a public community engagement meeting, and that was done at another place after hours. This is a board meeting held here at the SNHD headquarters during business hours like we typically do. So this is a special called board meeting for the Board of Health. So that's the difference of why we're having it here versus out in the community on an evening or on a Saturday. This is an official board meeting that I asked for as the chair. And then the last thing I'll mention is Ms. Bridget Salvi said, I said we will get it right. And that's our goal today. So we have public health professionals that put together a concept of what could be considered based on the feedback and the engagement of the public. Clearly, we heard that there were far-reaching implications to residential property owners, costs, quality of life, autonomy over your property, et cetera. Those are the things that we heard. It's important for us. We have a great staff, and they do amazing work. We're elected to represent the voters, the taxpayers, the residents, hence why we're here today with the intention to get it right. So I have made the recommendation in this agenda item that we withdraw the proposed 2025 ISDS and liquid waste management regulation. So for my colleagues, a yes vote today would be we're stopping this process. It will cease to move forward. A no vote means we would proceed down the process as we have currently been engaged in. So with that, I will turn it over to comments from my colleagues on the board. We'll start with the ones in the room, and then we'll make sure that we catch everyone who's joined us virtually so we all can weigh in on what we're considering today. Mayor Hardy.
Okay, I'm a doctor. And in the process of education, I took a physics class. And the physics class taught me a very valuable thing. It said, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I think the opposite is more than equal. The other thing that we hear is in medicine, we periodically will do bowel surgery, and I'm getting somewhere, okay? and we will interrupt the bowel, which means it's contaminated, and then we have to figure out how to get rid of the contamination. And there's a principle that says that the dilution is the solution to pollution. And dilution in surgery is putting more fluid into the bowel to basically flush the area out that's contaminated. And so you have a solution of pollution by diluting it with more water or with something like that, which is a different kind of thing than a septic tank, but it's the same principle. You dilute in order to decrease the pollution. And then you recognize that if there's a well next to a septic tank, there's a potential to get illness. And the illness, and I will have to defer to people who are able to do the study that shows these are the illnesses that we have had in Clark County, for instance, with association with septic tanks. And we haven't heard that. I would love to say that that has been well publicized, but nonetheless, it's a potential thing, but not necessarily well known by everybody. And I confess that I don't have those statistics, and I'm not sure how prevalent those statistics are. So when I look at where we came to be here, I think there's probably two good motivations for the proposing of these regulations. One was decrease illness. I haven't really heard what those illnesses have been as far as lots of them, little of them, or potential illnesses. And that has to be something that is worked out in order to motivate a change. And then the other motivation would be that return flow credit. And we were in a drought, but we're always going to be in a drought at some time or another. That is going to happen. So if we get a return flow credit, that basically gets us more water in the infrastructure, the groundwater, not necessarily getting it into the lake, but no matter how much we get into the lake, we still are in a drought. And with the getting it into the lake is a wise thing for us and for those downstream. Those are the two motivations that I see that we're doing is, and there's probably more, but the two main motivations are the return flow credit and decreasing illness. Now, how much would we get down into the lake more that we can then say offsets what we take out? That is a figure that people can do their computers and say, this is how much we get back and what it's worth to us. That's real. The illness, I think somebody who's got a bigger appetite to do those statistics, I think those are two good motivations to have presented this process. Neither one of those motivations at this point has overcome the economic, I'll call it the economic reality of if you have a septic tank, if you live somewhere where you don't have sewer, if you have somewhere that doesn't have a septic tank, but you could use one for your casita or whatever, the economic process is astronomical. And I don't think that I feel good about voting for the proposal to have the septic tank regulated as much as the proposal for us today. So I agree with the chair that I think that this particular proposal needs more work.
Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me.
I have not finished.
Thank you. We listened, and we will continue to listen. I'm asking that you will listen to each of my colleagues on the board today. Thank you.
And so when I say more work, I deliberately baited you, knowing what this amounts to. So this regulation today, to withdraw it, is the way to go. Period.
Thank you. So we have two doctors on our board. Dr. Nemec, who's joining us virtually, says he has to leave soon to go to take care of his patient. So I'm going to go to him really quick, if you don't mind, folks. Dr. Nemec, go ahead and make your comment.
Thank you. Yeah, just a brief word. I agree with what seeing a lot of problems with is because for the most part they are maintained, and that's what you can hear me. Yes,
about 30% of it.
That's what Oh, okay. Yes, I agree with Dr. Hardy. One of the reasons why we're not seeing consequences of septic failures in Southern Nevada is, for the most part, they are well maintained. It's not like some of the third world countries where septic overflow is a common problem, leading to enteric fat infections, Salmonella, Shigella, Campylobacter, norovirus, and toxigenic E. coli. As Mark Twain said, whiskey is for drinking, water is for fighting, and we found that out today. I will be voting in support of the withdrawal of our.
Thank you, Dr. Nemec. All right, I'll bring it back to our conference. Thank you so much. Colleagues, Commissioner Becker.
All I want to say is I am very sorry for the time that you guys had to spend here fighting for this. And I'm sorry for the time you had to spend at home worrying about it, because I know that it's a lot of money and I don't think this was handled properly. But we're going to do better in the future. And I will definitely be voting no, or I'm sorry, against it. Whether that's yes or no, I'm going to be voting against this continuing. And I take it very seriously when we say we represent you. That's what we do. And I'm thankful that you came out every single time. And as painful as these meetings are for me, I'm just happy I'm here right now to be able to vote the way you want me to. So I'm happy to be able to represent you. So that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Becker. So, Councilwoman Larson online, you have a comment you'd like to make? Okay. Councilwoman Summers Armstrong, anything you'd like to add?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Do you have something you would like to add at this point?
You remuted yourself.
Can you hear me, John?
Okay, we can hear you now, Councilwoman.
Perfect. All right. Hi, everyone. This is Monica Larson, Henderson City Councilwoman. Thank you for giving me the opportunity today. I will be voting yes to cancel the regulation proposal. When this proposal first came forward, I myself felt blindsided, and based on the volume of emails, calls, and comments from residents, it was clear many homeowners felt the same way. The level of concern expressed by the community shows that the communication and outreach surrounding the proposal simply was not sufficient. And as a homeowner myself, I can fully understand why residents would feel overwhelmed and frustrated by the regulation that can impose significant financial obligations without a clear guidance, support, or well-defined path forward. Protecting public health and the environment is important, but so is ensuring the policies are transparent, fair, and financially realistic for the families who would be impacted. So at this time, I believe this proposal would place an unnecessary financial burden on homeowners. Before moving forward with any future regulations, we must first explore alternative solutions, improve community engagement, and work with the state to identify funding sources or assistance programs that would help offset costs for residents. And for these reasons, I believe canceling this proposal today is the responsible step while we work towards a more collaborative, transparent, and financially sustainable approach in the future. So I am voting yes to cancel this.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Summers Armstrong.
Chandra Summers Armstrong here. I represent the city of Las Vegas, Ward 5. Most of my district is urban, and most of my folks are already hooked up on sewer. But I have a group of folks, and some of them are here in this room, who are on septic, and we have heard from you loud and clear. I started my life not as an elected official or a politician. I spent a lot of time doing exactly what you are doing, which is taking time out of my schedule. I was working much younger then, and trying to express my concerns about things that were happening in the community that sometimes seem to be tone deaf. When it came to the community that I live in. I live in a rural neighborhood, but it happens to be in the middle of the urban community, if you can believe that. And it's difficult. This is the stuff that just really makes you frustrated. But I can say from the activist in me that I'm really glad that you're here. I've sat in these meetings attentively and listened. I actually went all the way to Centennial and also listened, because I think it's important that we hear you. We don't have all the answers. We are not all doctors, and even they don't have all the answers. Someone told me once that medicine is a practice, meaning that you're learning all the time. Your comments and your feedback, your concerns are legitimate, and that's why we're here today. I'm going to vote in support of not going forward with this modification or these rules. But I also think that at some point, we've got to find a way to come to a medium, a happy medium, or a compromise, which means that each side has pain. On what we do about water here. Water is a real issue, and none of us will be able to remain living here without it. And so we've got to figure out what to do. We know that our folks that are in the water space are trying to propose things. I lived in California as a kid. I can remember we were in drought where we could only flush the toilet one time a day. So if anybody lived in California during the 70s, you might remember those days. We don't want that to be our reality, and we certainly don't want it to be a permanent reality. So this is not the right thing to do right now, but we do have to recognize that to sustain our lives here, we have to preserve water. How we do it, how we respect one another while we do it, how we are considerate and open and transparent about it is the important thing. And we didn't do a great job here. I don't think staff intentionally meant to make you angry. They were just trying to move something, and they may not have done it in a way that was as considerate. And for that, I apologize. But I do want you to know that the folks on this board are listening. We have heard you. We care about you. We honor you as our constituents, and we're here today to do the right thing. And I thank you all for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, Councilwoman. So we'll go to the members online. We'll go with Mr. Nielsen, Ms. Bond, Councilwoman Gallo. Those, I think, are the three remaining that are online. Mr. Nielsen, if you have something you'd like to add to our conversation right now, now's the time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate everyone's participation in the process, and we've heard their concerns. I want them to know that, and I appreciate you bringing this back before the board, and I'm ready to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nielsen. Ms. Bond?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for everyone who's worked so hard to make sure people were listening. I have been in Nevada most of my life, and I am not an elected official. I'm appointed to this board, so I really appreciate the public input. And I think the disconnect between what was passed in the statute and what turned into something that would be an undue and unfair burden on you is well documented here. I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate this board's patience. And I do want to say we're going to have to protect water in this valley for us to all stay here. And I think that we just need to start over. So I support the resolution that you've brought, Chair, and I appreciate everybody who helped with it.
Thank you, Ms. Bond. Councilwoman Gallo?
I'm in total
And then we'll-
agreement with everything that's been said here. I
Okay.
don't want to take up a whole lot of people's time, but I just want to say that thank you everyone for coming out. You've been heard, and I'm ready to move on and vote.
Thank you. And then lastly, Councilwoman Bruni. If you have anything you'd like to add, Councilwoman.
If you're on the telephone, you can star 6 to mute.
Okay. Well, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, just to remind my colleagues on the board, a yes vote would approve the recommendation that I have made to withdraw the proposed 2025 individual sewage disposal system and liquid waste management regulations. A no vote would continue this regulation revision process. Again, I just want to reiterate how appreciative I've been. I've learned a lot through this process personally as an elected official, as someone who is in charge at this time of this board. And I'm just grateful for the interactions that we've had and the voices that have been spoken with clarity, with compassion, and with really a desire to do what makes sense for the people that put us up here in the first place. So with that, the chair will entertain a motion to withdraw the proposed regulations. Oh, hold on. Okay. I asked for the motion. Don't, you're clapping a little too early. Easy. Hold those claps. Hold those claps. Okay, go ahead.
Here, I've been consistent throughout this process. I think that AB 220 was consistent on especially the well owners in particular. And then we tried to make a second stab at it. And I think we got closer, but I really do think that for a lot of these folks in this room, I remember as a kid, probably Doc Hardy too, you know, Sahara and Jones was the end of the road, right? It didn't go past there. Wonder World was the end of the world on Lake Mead in Decatur, right? So all of those things at no fault of their own, they built the way we told them to. It was not intended. You know, I struggle a little bit because I also am the chair of the water district, and I've taken it on the chin quite a bit from folks about this. My phone started ringing at 5:30 this morning about this, and this was never the intent of the water district to do that. Whether you agree or disagree, I'm not here to argue with folks today, because we need to move forward and get our community back, because this is either divided some communities or brought some communities together. And so we have to figure out how to bring back the community that I loved and I stayed here my whole life for. And I'm worried that it's people are so angry about everything that we can't have a conversation. So I do think I have said since AB 220 was passed in the 23 legislature that we should, and I said it, and I know some of you have tried to remind me of what the conversation was, but I did have all those town halls and said we should pay for it. We should figure out how to pay for it. Number one, because you have lush landscaping that you've had for over 30 years and all of that, that's $100,000 all by itself. And nobody's ever talking about that, right? And many of you in this room, quite frankly, aren't even within 1,000 feet, even though you might be on Sahara and Jones. There are several people that are 1,700 feet from the nearest sewer because your septic's in the backyard. But I am going to ask this, and I support this. I've been consistent. I know that folks at the health district will tell you from day one that I've said, hey, I don't know that this is where we've meant to go. We did try to make it better, but I will tell you this, all of you are great actors in this room and on the phone with your septics, but there are new people that are buying that are not quite so great actors. And so when we see the waivers that come before us, I likely am not supporting them anymore, because at the end of the day, We tried to fix that. I had tons of people call and yell at me because it took them months and months and months to get through our process, and it costs thousands of dollars. But at the same time, it's because somebody before them or they came in and they said, oh my gosh, I'm going to put all of these beautiful trees in. Well, now you put them in the middle of your leach field, and that creates a problem for us and for the future stuff. So you got to take the good with the bad. I get septics. I'm married to a plumber. I have a second home in Utah that is on a septic, on a well. I completely understand where everybody is coming from. It's not good for your system to make you pump once a year. That doesn't make sense because now you're messing with things that are working fine. It costs $800 every time you do pump. So I just want to say I'm likely not to support waivers in the future because we were trying to fix that situation. And what happens is people come through and they want to build a garage in this 20-foot setback, and now there's trees and there's leach fields and all those other things. And I would hope that through this process, we can at least get updated information on who has what in our valley, because on the county side, we see people that come before us that say, it was permitted in the 1970s, and I went back myself with our staff trying to find something, and there's nothing, and there's no microfiche that was lost. There's none of that stuff that we hear, but we do have to get copies of people's stuff. You should have copies. The realtor should have copies. Inspections should be done when people sell, because people need to know what that looks like. Because although you're all here today, I've been at many of these waiver meetings where people are yelling and screaming at us that it's their fault, that they got to pay money, that how ridiculous am I, that, I just want to build a garage. Well, you don't have enough fixtures based on your perk test and all these other things. And we just got to have that real conversation at some point. I am prepared to make the motion to approve the recommendation to withdraw these regs today and for the long foreseeable future. I don't think in my tenure I want to see them ever again in my life until we have a better solution, because it just has divided the community that I love and know. And I've struggled with taking it on the chin from folks when I really just tried to help them. So that's my motion, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion by Commissioner Kirkpatrick, a second by Mayor Hardy. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? If you have opposition, please state your name so we know who you are. Just kidding. That motion passes. Thank you all for being here and for working through this with us. Now we'll go to the second public comment, a period devoted to comments by the general public. If any discussion of those comments are about matters relevant to the board's jurisdiction, we're going to allow 2 minutes per speaker. Please state your name for the record. Ms. Henry.
Diane Henry, Henry. Thank you, Chairman Black, for bringing this forward. It's much appreciated. And also to Vice Chair Nemec and the board members. Thank you for hearing us.
Hi.
Hi.
Demetria Kalfas Gordon, KALFAS-GORDON. I am a homeowner that has both septic and a well, as well as a real estate agent. I just hope that you guys are just not tabling this for now and not bringing it back up later on. It is really important for property values and everything else that things stay in play without additional. We've been taking care of our septics and our wells for a long time. Me personally, 25 years. So the comment that was made about putting trees in or doing anything.
Excuse me, folks. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have a speaker. If you're going to leave, that's absolutely fine, but we're going to have the second public comment. I would ask that we have quiet so we can hear the speaker speak. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries. Thank you very much. Leach fields and everything else, we know how to operate it, and we expect that the people that purchase them do the same so that we don't have these issues. But when we've had sewer lines run, I'm up off of Centennial and Regina, and we're all half-acre minimums, but yet we've got sewer lines running right behind our houses in anticipation of our connections. It's not about just the money. It is a very important thing. It's a way of life. We like our septic, we like our water, and we don't want to be connected. And it's not a health risk. There's been nothing that's proven that we're not taking care of our stuff. We empty it out whenever we need to. We don't want to live in an area that's toxic or anything else. And you have to give people a little bit of credence or a little bit of benefit of the doubt to know that we know what we're doing. Yes, there's the occasional person that's going to come in, but that shouldn't penalize the 18,000 people that choose to do that because a few bad apples are out there. So please make sure that this isn't something that keeps coming up. And even if the funding is there are people that want to connect, and that's fine for them. But it should never be mandatory. It should never be mandatory. We have our rights. This is what we bought.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Alejandro.
Hi, again, me. So on my situation, you guys not gonna allow to do septic tanks anymore? Or do you guys still requesting the $20,000 waiver?
You mentioned that your situation is unique. If you're welcome to stay behind and speak to, raise your hand, Dan or Chris. From the health district's scope of responsibility, they will discuss with you what we have to do with that.
Yep.
And the $20,000 waiver that's currently.
Can you help me with $20,000?
That's the water authority. But anyway, if you don't mind sticking around, these gentlemen will speak to you about your unique situation. Thank you. Good luck with your house.
I am still Victoria Richester. I was up here a little bit earlier, and thank you for voting against this measure. And I wanted to say that instead of looking for a way to share the pain, find a way to share the joy. And we can start right here. In the first row, you have to go all the way back and bother all the people to come up here. Why not move out of the podium 2 feet so it's accessible? And this is just a small little example of how there's a disconnect in our government. We're not looking how to help our constituents. We're looking how to make it difficult so they don't show up. So please, make us all joyful and don't shove the pain down our throats in different proposals that cost so much and make so much overwhelmment and so much hate towards our representatives, because we all want to like and respect you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. The podium has wheels. I think we can do what she said. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you. No, we can move it. It's portable. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, Carol Reynolds. I have 2 words. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds.
Hi, Michelle Tambari. I was listening to everything, and I just wanted to comment again about how the wastewater or the water from septics is not really lost. And I wrote an editorial, guest editorial, the RJ published back when we were working on AB 220. But the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency article says, if you even look it up online, the soil accepts, treats, and disperses wastewater as it percolates through the soil, ultimately discharging to groundwater. Since septic systems filter waste naturally and release the clean water back into our valley's aquifer, it is not being lost. And I know that seems to be an issue about reclaiming the water, but it's not lost. It may not be reclaimed for points with the federal government, but it's not lost water. So I just wanted to throw that out.
You.
Richard Serdoz again. Thank you for the vote. I'm glad you heard us. I'm glad that you're taking us as a group seriously. I mean, it was definitely an impact active thing on all of us. The thing that I was a little concerned about when I heard is, we have to come together and find solutions. I absolutely agree with you. There's got to be changes down the road. If those changes are going to happen, then obviously it's got to be something that's economical for us. She said a little bit of pain. Marilyn Patrick said share the pain or something like that. I don't remember what that was.
I did not say that, sir.
But-
I am not taking it on the chin anymore over
No,
this
no,
topic.
I hear you.
I said the
And I
meetings
did
were
not say it.
painful.
Thank you. My comment on that would be basically, I drive around this town all day, every day. I own a garage door company here. I see waste more than you probably do. I see casinos running fountains that are only a 16-inch deep, so the evap on that is astronomical. There's water saved there. You got communities who have water features that don't necessarily need them, but yet they want us to save water. And I get that. I'm totally with that. I've been a lifelong resident of Nevada since I was a little kid. Like I told you earlier last week, my dad was the head of the EPA here for 20 some years and the air quality. So I know what we're trying to do as a whole. I do. I respect that. But like you said, this whole thing came as an abomination, no notification, no information, no nothing. And then that's what set everybody up. That's why you got the turnout you did at the YMCA, because people finally could show up, voice their concern, and then you heard us. But I want to say thank you again for listening to us, all of you. And I'm glad all of you voted that way. I think it's a good thing. I just hope you don't, in 2 years, try to do what the water district and free visit again. Oh, let's see what we can do to implement rules without us knowing. And that's the part that bothers us. So again, thanks again. I appreciate your time.
Keith Kennedy, Henderson. I'd like to thank the board for listening to all the people that have shown up, taking time out of their lives to meet with you guys and basically have some reason, some sense to say, hey, this is an issue that is not an issue. And I'd like to plead with the board, also the members of SNWA, to relook at the homeowners or landowners that don't know about AB 220 and the septic waiver system the way it stands now. And we can take this momentum that you guys listened to, today and the last months and use that to pass something that's reasonable for future septic owners. And I really appreciate your time and your thought on this process. Thanks again.
Thank you. Good morning.
My name is Mary Peters. I live at 7175 West Landberg Avenue, and I wanted to thank you all for the way you voted, and also to point out, Ms. Kilpatrick, thank you for saying, that you were talking about that it should be fully funded. I don't really want to connect, but at least, that's a big burden, obviously, that most of us, I think, would be worried about. But the other thing I kind of wanted to say is I was a kid in California when we had 50-gallon rations. I remember that. But I guess what I'm having a hard time coming together with is, we talk about water and how precious, and I know it's a precious resource, but yet, if we all need to share pain, then maybe we need to share pain about how much building and the pools. The pools evaporate. We don't have a pool or any of that, and we don't have all that landscaping and stuff. But I guess it's just hard to hear, save water, restrict, do all this stuff and get these credits. But more people is going to equal more use. Even when you capture that water, it's still more use, and it's making our city hotter with all the concrete and the asphalt and all the building and everything. So I think if we're seriously serious about drought and water, that needs to be looked at too, that maybe the developers and stuff need to take pain about, they're not going to make more money building more places for people. That's just my opinion, but thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Christian Salmon. Under NRS 241.0351D, I ask for my remarks to be verbatim in the minutes. Thank you, members of the board, for your vote today, sincerely. And this is a good first step. Please help cement this decision by placing on a future agenda for possible action the process failures this issue exposed so that they can be corrected here at the SNHD and where needed through bill draft requests to the Nevada legislature, etc. These items include full disclosure of all records, drafts, authors, influences, and agency involvement in this regulatory process and in the future and any future one. We don't want it back. Again, direct homeowners notice and outreach from the very beginning. That should have been done. A clear board vote before staff builds a major regulatory package in the first place. So we spent all this time and now all of a sudden we're done. Time wasted. Homeowner protection as a baseline, such as a repair replacement rights, as well as other times stated in items stated in the Septic Owners Bill of Rights. Removal of the current 400-foot requirement, hookup pressure points, and any similar language that can be used to push septic owners into sewer conversion. And a clear, usable recordings and preservation of the public record, which has not been done through this process. As I said to Chair Black, I'm standing with my arms stretched out to work through these issues to protect homeowners. And we don't want to have this come back through the back door again, like it's happened many times. And that's in earnest. We want to work with whoever, but we don't want to get sideswiped again. This happens so many times. This issue has repeated itself already many times. Homeowners should not have to keep looking over their shoulder for the next version, the next round, the next agency effort. Thank you for abandoning your regulations, not our septics. Thank you.
I'm Craig again. There's a couple things I wanted to address as well, but we had 2 minutes, so I stopped. So it's all about the water, right? And getting it out to the lake or whatever you guys want to do with it. But God put the water in the ground. We pull it out. We use it. The ground is the best filter you could possibly have. Puts the water back in the ground. I went and had all 3 of my properties tested. All the water levels are really good. There's no fluoride in the water. I don't like fluoride going into my kids and my grandchildren. And that's just something I wanted to bring up. Let God do let Mother Nature take care of it instead of mankind getting involved. And because every time we get regulated, things never really work out in our favor. It seems to be anymore, and we've pretty much had enough of that. And I've had enough of it. I think it's really nice to see our community get together, and all of us together. I mean, we can actually do things instead of this whole world's divided. And once we unite, we can actually do some powerful things if we're not like always pitted against each other. This is community working the way it's supposed to. And that's all I got to say about that.
Thanks, Mr. Craig. Hi, Ms. McSwain.
Hi, Laura McSwain again, for the record, MCSWAIN with the Water Fairness Coalition. I obviously want to thank all of you for hearing this group, and it's great to put all the effort that went into this and get a good result. So thank you for that. I also very much appreciate your comments, Chair Black, about the process and the flaws in the process that we will be addressing. And I look forward, I hope that we don't have to wait for a legislative action to start possibly implementing some of the notifications that people deserve to have in advance of whatever kind of rule change that may be legitimately required or needed. There may be a true health issue that needs to be addressed. But also a lot of people are, they come to these meetings curious and not understanding the bigger picture. And yes, we do need to preserve our water, but we also need to be looking at the policies and the negotiations that are going on the Colorado River at this time. Nevada has presented a proposal through SNWA to basically give away 50,000 acre feet of our water supply. And so there needs to be a reckoning and accountability in terms of where we really are in this process. The law of the river, the Colorado Compact, there is nothing that requires us to give up this water. And there's nothing in the hydrology that would suggest that we should be doing it. So we need to be looking at the broader picture. I appreciate what this board's done, and I think that you've set an example for good governance, and it's been really a privilege to be able to be part of this process with you. Thank you for your time.
Greg Ostell, spelled the same way as before. Thank you for your vote today. We appreciate that. We have council persons, a mayor, a lot of people with very valued interest on this board. My primary recommendation, it's called a building moratorium. It can be temporary. We did it in the 80s in Southern California, and we just stopped all building. We had a water problem, and we have one now. That's one idea. The best idea I have for you is right here. Everybody in this room. I retire in a year, and I'll be on it if you want, but you need a citizens advisory board. You should vote amongst yourselves, figure out if you want to formulate a team of 10 people that represent your community to help you move forward with any decisions you make to prevent this from happening again. Thank you.
Hi, Deanne Stout, DE capital ANN STOUT. Thank you for having the courage to admit that there were some flaws and recognizing them and voting that, yeah, let's start over whatever you have to do to meet the regulations that have been put in front of you by the state of Nevada. But also, thank you for going back to what I've always seen, what Southern Nevada Health District has done, and as that's been a proponent of the community. This took me by surprise when I saw how punitive the regulations were, because the health district always seemed very pro-community, trying to help out the best way they could, and this seems so punitive, so out of your character from what I've experienced with the health district. So I appreciate you kind of going back to what I've seen the core values be of the health district. That's my experience. I won't speak for the rest of you, but that's been my experience. I do want to just say, in regards to conserving water and septics, if we put too much water into our septics, it overloads them and it will cause failure. So when it comes to conserving water, one of the best things to do is have a septic, because you don't want your septics to fail. So I will disagree that we will take away, like, we're not conserving waters, because we absolutely are by having a septic. Thank you for your time and thank you for your vote.
Thank you. Dr. Cantor.
Gary Cantor. I haven't changed my address. I want to thank you all very much. When I moved here in 1972, it took me a couple of weeks to realize the difference between Clark County and Nevada and California. And it really is wonderful to be able to communicate with people such as yourself. I have two comments. One, there are people that own lots in residential areas that do not have sewers and do not have and require septic tanks. There should be no restriction on their ability to install a septic tank in a community without sewers. If you do not allow, if septic tanks cannot be installed, then their property value is zero. And I think there's going to be an issue in that regard. The second thing is that about 2 years ago, I looked up the water consumption of the hotels, and I looked up a couple. There are multiple hotels that are using 550 million gallons of water a year. I looked up a shopping center that had a drugstore on it and a place where you could smoke grass and get a haircut, but nothing that used water. And they were using 2.5 million gallons of water. So perhaps if the county is looking for some way of preserving water, it may not be the people that have septic tanks that would be the best source of obtaining some water or making some regulations or adjustments. Thank you very much.
So we have one speaker online. Okay, go ahead, sir. Then we'll get to the individual online. Thank you.
I want to say thank you for the vote. Thank you for remembering Wonderworld, because I haven't thought of them for a long time. And being an addict for YouTube, I've seen a few YouTube things that have addressed bringing water into the valley. And my name is David Anderson, 6217 Abandon Drive, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for voting the way you did. Also, what I wanted to say is for everybody here and all of you folks over there, I use Joe Septic. They charge $375 to pump your septic tank. So it's not $800, or it doesn't have to be. It can be cheaper. So just remember that, Joe Septic. And that makes a difference. Every little bit helps. So I want to say that. Also, I had contacted Mr. Burns, Dan Burns, and Dan is very helpful, because since he is the head engineer, if you have a problem, he is the man to talk to, and he will help you in any way. So I think that is very good. My situation's a little different, in which he explained to me and sent me information on the email I sent. And he specifically pointed out that I would have to get an easement from my next door neighbor to hook up. And my neighbor and I would have to hook up together, because I have to cross his property to actually get to a sewer line. So I'm not even capable of even hooking up other than that option. And it's interesting that they put a sewer line in an alley where there's nothing, just because of our homes, they couldn't use the street. So it's unfortunate, but my bill's $40 a month and I have all desert landscape and I do have my swimming pool. But you know, the people that are wasting water, you have X amount of people that are, you get X amount of water that you get back from inside, everything else is lost. And the bottom line is the majority of water that is being lost, you'll never get it back. And that's the way it is. And that's a whole lot of people that are doing it. Big homes, the more you build, the
Thank you,
worse
Ms.
it gets.
Pastor. Hello, sir.
Edward Peters, 7175 West Landberg. A couple things. I agree with the man on stop building. Coming here today, I passed at least 7 projects of building, 4 of them apartment buildings that are going up, which, what are we talking, 500, 1,000 more people drawing water if we're short water. So either we're short water or we're not. It's got to be one or the other. One side you're saying we're short water, the other side you're building. It makes no sense. I agree with what you've just voted on. Please do not do any more regulations. You know, Ronald Reagan said the scariest words in the government language. I'm here from the government. I'm here to help. Stop helping me.
So we have one speaker online, Andrea, if you'd like to bring them in.
We have 2 actually.
2 speakers. Okay, awesome.
So David, you can unmute yourself and make your comment.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
you can.
David, thank you.
Okay, sorry, signal's cutting in and out. Yeah, like many, thank you to the board for removing this. But with the things that are said today, as far as reclamation and so forth, the health district and water, doesn't it all tie in together into the big picture? I mean, giving thousands of acres away of water. I understand other states are the other states, they do what they do. Regulations are difficult to come to agreements with between the states. But in tourism, water usage here, that's a fine line, right? But for neighboring states, why should we give up acreage? What I asked basically from the health district and SNWA, please continue to work together and push back on giving any water away that we don't need to other states when the other states are being very wasteful, and we know it, but they refuse to acknowledge it. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next speaker online.
So caller ending in 1449, you can unmute yourself and make your comment.
This is Carol Benner at 190 North Iroquois Street in Sandy Valley. I wanted to comment that your beginning part of notifying people, I wasn't notified. I actually heard it from my daughter. So at the meeting in Sandy Valley, I let them know that I'm not on social media, and I don't leave my house even to go down to the local contract post office most of the time. So I don't see bulletin boards either. So I really appreciated that you started putting out mail notification after that. And then I was able to get on your email list. So I'm happy to be getting those notifications now, and thank you for that. The other thing at the meeting is that I suggested, and I'm going to suggest it again, is if you want to do something, make a short educational presentation to give to new homeowners who have septics so that they understand why your well and your septic need to be a certain distance apart or far away from the neighbor's septic for your well. And, you know, that would be more productive, I think, if that was just something that you could do and somebody could just go online and look at it, okay? Education is excellent in this matter of how to take care of your septic, and the fact that the district has a list of companies that will come and pump your septic are excellent. So I appreciate that, and thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your insight all the way from Sandy Valley. I love Sandy Valley. My dad lived on gypsum for 35 years before he passed away. So Sandy Valley is a great place. Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
have other speakers?
Yeah, Kevin Ferguson, you can unmute yourself and make your comment.
Kevin Ferguson, 6113 Wittig Avenue. I wanted to thank the commission for the vote in the way I perceived as the best for the community. One quick note, I'm a little confused. If there's only 18,000 homes in this with over millions of people living in the valley, why we were going after, or appeared to be going after, this small group of people to try to fix water problems, because that was one of the big battle cries I heard from the opposite side. It would make a change, but I don't think it's going to make a significant one. We might want to look at the bigger users and players in these usages than the little guy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does that conclude our online?
Yes, I do not see anyone else online.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll close the public comment. Again, thank you all for being here, working with us through this process. This meeting is adjourned. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.